Hello, today we're going to start studying about definition, which is lesson number 3. As you may be reading in your manual, you can see that the very first thing that gets my attention is that definition controls both perception and expectation. Fascinating, isn't it? Notice that we can actually get confused or get some feelings just because of the definition that was imposed to a word. Another thing that has a strong power is that the part of the text that says we define first and then perceive. Notice the cognitive processes that go through our minds, and notice that the definition gets to our feelings and emotions. We see the word in our minds, and then we immediately get associated emotions, negative, positive connotations to them. The third thing that gets my attention from that paragraph is that part that says our culture, which has usually done the defining for us, controls how we see or understand something. Notice how important or how influential society is in us, because if society defines something with a negative connotation, for example, then immediately it becomes negative to us. Take for example the Chinese characters for the word crisis. It has been said that these two characters are made up of two different words in English. The first one is danger, and the second character means opportunity. They say that they get a philosophy out of it, and they say that a crisis could mean something very negative, or it could be an opportunity for everyone to grow as professionals, as people, etc. But this idea has totally been refused by Professor of Chinese Victor Mayer, who gives strong arguments towards that philosophical idea, and you can read about that in the address provided. As you can see in your manuals, let's take Christianity, for example. The word Christianity, what does it really mean? Is it one of the multiple religions created by humans? Or is it alternative lifestyle that follows a person's teachings? Or is it a strong connection with your creator? Well, as you can see, depending on your definition of the word, you will act accordingly. Amazing concept. Well, if you turn to page 16 in your manuals, you will see that there are 4 different kinds of definition. The very first one is called the descriptive definition. This type of definition is the one that you can find in any dictionary. It's just a description of the idea or thing. Look at the example in your manual. It says hatchet, a small short-handled axe. Notice how it describes what it is. You just need to add one more example in English. The second type of definition is called the stipulative definition. What does that mean? Well, stipulative means that in certain contexts the word means something that doesn't generally mean. Again, a word means in general something. Like for example, the word pen means this writing object in general. But in a stipulative definition, it would mean, for example, in this specific case, we will say that the word pen refers specifically to only red color markers. So the stipulative definition specifies the definition of a specific word in a specific context. Notice the 2 examples that you have in your manual. You have the word highly polished. It could mean anything. A piece of steel could be highly polished in general, but it says the term as used here, and notice that it says as used here, specifically here and not in other place, means certain things. And the other expert system, this term shall refer to da 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 da. Notice that it says shall refer to, specifying specifically in that specific area or place that it refers to that, and not to mean in general what an expert system is. What's the difference between descriptive and stipulative definition then? That the stipulative definition is extremely specific and it works only in certain contexts that should be specified. Now let's take a look at the normative definition. Normative comes from the word prescriptive, norm, follow rules. So that is exactly what the definition does. It's not a description, it's actually a prescription. So notice, for example, it says a Boy Scout. A youth is a description, but then it says who is trustworthy, loyal, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. That boy in the picture looks like that. Who knows? Look at scientist. Scientist, an objective, highly trained, specialized observer and evaluator of facts who willingly accepts whatever conclusions they lead to. I don't think so. So it's not actually a description, it's more what it should be like, what it must be like. Finally, you have knife, a strong, sharp-bladed instrument, which is a description, but then it says used for cutting. And you know that you can use a knife for many other uses. So the used for cutting part is the normative one. Last but not least, we have the persuasive definition, the one that is designed to persuade the reader or hearer of the words of the defined term. So be very careful not to mix normative with persuasive, please. Persuasive is usually full of eloquence and linguistic manipulation, so that the person, the hearer, really gets what you want them to do. Look at the example. It says speeding ticket, a tax forced upon certain motorists at random by the police and designed to raise extra revenue for already bloated local governments. Notice how biased the definition is. We have another one, senator, for example. One persuasive definition of senator would be a corrupt politician who makes false promises and earns a lot of money. What do you think of that? Well, that's it then. We have 4 different kinds of definition: the descriptive one, the stipulative one, the normative one, and finally the persuasive one. What's next? Well, you have to do assignment number 2, submit that next week, and do practice quiz number 3. We can go over practice quizzes 1, 2, and 3 next week after you've done that at home. Enjoy, have a good day, bye bye.